Did you know that there are certain foods that can help speed your metabolism and help you drop the weight, especially after 50? Well, in this video, I'm revealing 5 superfoods that are gonna help you bust through the fat and reach your weight loss goals. You know what? A few of them, actually, I think most of them are gonna be pretty darn surprising because there's not much fruit and vegetable listed and a lot of meat. Let's dive in. So superfood number 1 is an egg. Eggs are just like the perfect multivitamin that comes from nature. And we have been told so much misinformation around eggs. You know, there was one headline not too long ago saying that eating eggs is equivalent to smoking cigarettes. That is so bogus. Actually, it's just nature's perfect little package for you to consume. It's got protein in it. It's got healthy fats. It's really great to support metabolic flexibility. It's not going to spike your blood glucose or insulin levels. It's not going to cause any kind of inflammation. It's really unique because in the yolk, actually the yolk is the most important part because that's where you get all of the vitamins and minerals. So if you're going to eat an egg, you want to make sure that you eat the entire egg so you get that full, complete package. In the yolk, you can find choline, and choline's really important for brain health. If you happen to be listening to this, watching this, and you're pregnant, the choline's really important for the baby that you're growing. It has vitamin D in the egg yolk, and you know it's very, very hard to find foods that have vitamin D in it. Usually we get vitamin D from the sun, but most of us aren't converting to the active form. We could get into the details around vitamin D another time, but the moral of the story is that if you eat eggs, it's supporting your vitamin D levels. And so for our clients at PhD Weight Loss, we always recommend eggs as a really healthy protein source and making sure that you're eating the yolk as well. One thing to note is that if you are consuming eggs for breakfast and you just eat 2 eggs, that's not going to be enough protein for anyone. So you want to make sure if you're consuming 2 eggs, you're going to add some kind of protein additional to it, like maybe some chicken breast or some steak. And by the way, I'm Dr. Ashley Lucas. I am a PhD nutritionist and a registered dietitian. I'm the owner and founder of PhD Weight Loss, and to date, we have helped over 10,000 people drop more than 366,000 pounds nationwide. If you're trying to drop a few pounds, make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss a new video. So superfood number 2 is wild-caught salmon. I really like salmon because it's high in omega-3s like DHA and EPA. It's really good for your brain health. And remember that to burn fat, you need to consume fat. And getting healthy fats sometimes can be difficult. You can get these healthy fats from salmon. It's going to help to preserve your muscle mass. And remember, you want to preserve your muscle mass as you're dropping fat. We just want to drop fat weight. And no matter what, whenever we drop fat, we're going to drop some muscle with it. But the foods that you consume, specifically like these superfoods, are going to help you to reserve as much muscle mass as possible. We also want to help balance out that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Most of us, because we have such a diet high in processed foods and high in the vegetable oils like soybean oil, safflower, cottonseed oil, all of these vegetable oils increase our omega-6 in the body. In order to reduce that omega-6 level and increase those omega-3s, we really have to focus on that type of fat in our diet, and you're going to do that by consuming wild-caught salmon. Superfood number 3 is red meat. And I know a lot of people avoid red meat because we've been told that red meat causes heart disease. You guys, it doesn't. The research around red meat is so poorly done. It's very inaccurate. It shows correlation, but not causation. So what I mean by that is there is a correlation between heart disease and consuming red meat, but that does not mean that consuming red meat actually causes the heart disease. So when people do this research around red meat, what they usually do is they ask people, the participants of the study, to You tell them what they ate for the last year on a food frequency questionnaire. So they're asked, how many times did you consume fast food in the last year? How many times did you consume steak? How many times did you consume French fries? How many times did you consume soda, for example? I don't know about you, but I cannot remember what I consumed last week, let alone a year ago. So it's not very accurate, and they lump red meat in with salami and bologna and processed meats very often. And the majority of people who consume red meat consume it wrapped around processed foods and carbohydrates. So for example, the red meat might be paired with a bun on that McDonald's hamburger and with a soda and French fries. And then they say it's the red meat that causes the heart disease. So not true. So consume that red meat, but don't consume it in a fashion of a hamburger from McDonald's with inflammatory omega-6 bombs of French fries and your soda. So enjoy that steak, that ribeye, even if it has some fat with it. It's got such great levels of vitamin B. It's got iron in it. It's helpful for you guys in increasing and maintaining good testosterone levels. It is the best bioavailable form of protein, which means your body is actually going to be able to use that protein to support your muscle mass. So enjoy that steak, have a really nice, side of broccoli with some butter and maybe even a glass of red wine. If you've been eating healthy, but you haven't been seeing results, it's likely that you need a customized meal plan, support, and guidance to kickstart your weight loss journey. If you feel like this type of customized support will help you actually drop the weight that you've been working so hard on your own, then check us out at PhD Weight Loss. You can find the link in the description. Avocados are superfood number 4. I really like avocados because they've got really great high fat content, specifically from monounsaturated fats, which we know are healthy for the heart. And they've got a high fiber level, which is going to help you from a gut perspective. With the fiber and the fat content, it's going to keep you feeling full for longer periods of time. And I like that it's high in potassium. It's kind of hard to find foods that are high in potassium. So if you have muscle cramps or you exercise a lot, you're probably low in potassium levels to some extent, and eating avocados can help support that. So add avocado on top of your eggs. You could add avocado onto your salad, or you could even make a salad dressing out of avocado, or enjoy that steak that we just talked about with some avocado slices on top. Fifth superfood is organ meats. I know if you're like me, you might not love the taste of them, but organ meats, specifically liver, is again like this really great nature's multivitamin. It's high in vitamins D and E, vitamins K, B12, like a lot of your fat soluble vitamins. Vitamin A comes from liver. Liver is just so nutrient dense. Back in our ancestral days, liver and organ meats like heart was actually prized more than the muscle meat, like the steak, for example, when it came to what foods were prioritized and really important. And the reason why is because the organ meats are so dense in vitamins and minerals. So some different ways of consuming them is you could obviously cook your liver and have liver and onions, or however you like to cook them up. If you overcook organ meats, they get really rubbery and they actually increase in flavor strength. So really not cooking them too much is going to be the key there. You can, and I know this sounds a little bit off, but you could freeze your liver and get it from a really great source. And then you could put a small chunk of that frozen liver in your smoothie and you won't be able to taste it. So that's an option too. Another option is you could cook the liver and you could grate it and put it in your foods, or you can even grate it when it's raw and put it into like your hamburger patties and mush it all up and then cook a hamburger that way, and you can't taste it. There's also some seasonings. One brand that I do enjoy is called Pluck, and that seasoning is actually made out of organ meats and is really nutrient dense. You can also, I don't love supplements, but there is a desiccated liver powder that you could add into your smoothie if you want to do that, or you just eat the darn liver once in a while. If you could get a 1/2 to 1 ounce of liver a day, you would probably find your health accelerates, as does your weight loss. There are a lot of misconceptions around foods that people think are superfoods. For example, kale is usually on the list, but kale's not on the list for me because it's actually pretty darn high in oxalates, it's high in lectins, and these are compounds that actually can cause a lot of inflammation in the body. When my husband eats kale, he feels absolutely terrible. So one thing I should mention for all of these superfoods is that it really is going to depend on your body if these are superfoods. There might be something that I mentioned, maybe salmon, for example, where your body just does not tolerate it, and that means that it's not a superfood for you. But in general, I don't think kale should be on anyone's superfood list. These superfoods can totally transform the way that your body burns fat and drops the weight. But what happens when you go and you dine out? Maybe there are none of these superfoods there. What do you do? I know that dining out can be tricky because I hear about this from our clients at PhD Weight Loss all the time. And this is one of the biggest barriers and challenges that we help people overcome. For this reason, I created a video all on what to do when dining out to help you overcome this really common challenge. If you want to learn more, click on this video and I'll help you so that you feel super confident dining out at any restaurant.